Hello, everybody. It's me, Ross, and welcome back to another edition of Meet the Opposition. Today, I'm joined by Matt from Gills in the Blood to look ahead to Town's trip to Gillingham this weekend. This game, originally, Matt, welcome to the show as well, was going to be on Boxing Day, a nice little after Christmas game. That got postponed due to COVID and injuries to the Gillingham side. 12 games without a win. On paper, it doesn't look great. What's the lowdown on Gillingham so far this season? Is it as bad as it looks?
Yeah, you go 12 games in all competitions without winning a game, and it's never good. Obviously, there are extenuating circumstances with the Gills at the moment. Just before we've come on here, I've said that Saturday's draw at MK Dons was the first time that we've managed to fill a substitutes bench since the end of October. We've been filling it up with children, and that's not an exaggeration at all. There was one game where we had 4 substitutes, teenage keeper, 17-year-old left back, 18-year-old defender, 18-year-old striker. That was literally our options from the bench. And Steve Evans has come out plenty of times and said they'll be good players in time, but they're not ready now, and they're certainly not ready for what is effectively a relegation battle. It doesn't matter whether we've had injuries or not. We're in the bottom 4. It's the new year. We're in a scrap, and we've got to do all we can to make sure that we finish 20th and above. And if we finish 20th, I'd probably snap your arm off now, because it's been disappointing. It's been frustrating because we've had 2 really good seasons under Steve Evans where we finished 10th on points per game, jumped above you boys 2 seasons ago, and then 10th last season. I think we went into the playoffs for, all right, it was only for 24 hours on the Wednesday before Easter because we played a couple of extra games, but we were looking at the top 6, and not once until this season have we looked over our shoulder with Steve Evans in charge. And yes, the injuries have played a massive part. We also had 3 weeks of COVID in pre-season where some players missed 20 days of the summer. I think that's played a part in the ongoing injuries throughout the season, because I don't think they've ever caught up properly. Fingers crossed, this enforced break where we've had 3 games postponed prior to MK Dons on New Year's Day has given those players a chance to be fully fit, and we can hopefully kick on in the second half of the campaign. And yeah, staying up would be a successful season at the moment.
Definitely. And we've, of course, played each other already this season in the Papa John's Trophy, but that doesn't really count because I'm sure you're playing your kids. I know we played a strong team because I think we've just got a massive squad. So we need to keep these players happy. So we can ignore that game, really. But what sort of game can Town expect from a Gillingham side? You said you're now possibly back to your full strength. The possible team, the team that played against MK Dons is at the bottom here. What sort of game can we expect? And any players there you can pick out? Mustafa Carrial, former Town player. He's joined you guys in the summer, reuniting with Steve Evans because he played under him at Leeds and Crawley Town. What players can we look out for and could be dangerous?
Carrial will be one, but again, he just played himself into form September, got himself really fit, and then pulled a muscle, and we didn't see him for 6 weeks. He came back against Doncaster end of October. That was the last win. Lasted 20 minutes. Had a recurrence of that, and he's been playing catch up ever since. And we've probably played him 75, 80% fit because of such was the injury crisis over the last month or 2. But he'll be a danger if he's fit. He carries the ball well. He gets us into the final third really quickly. For Dane Oliver's back, he got the benefit of an hour last weekend, so fingers crossed that he'll come on for that performance. There is talk that Carl Dempsey will start if he is fit. Obviously, that depends on how he's trained this week, and there's not been a press conference from Steve Evans up until we're recording this, so I'm not sure. If he's fit, he definitely plays. Carl Dempsey is one of our best players, but then I'm not sure who you take out, because the performance at MK Dons was very, very good by all accounts. I didn't travel to the game, but I've watched the extended highlights on iFollow and seen all the reports and social media chat, and it seems that we were very good, and it was much more of a Gillingham Steve Evans performance. We were hard to beat. We were in your face. We created a couple of bits as well, and with a bit more luck, we might have nicked one, but I think the draw was probably a fair result based on the possession that MK Dons had. But yeah, we said before we come on air, if you'd rolled up to us at Boxing Day, you'd have beat us comfortably. We'd have probably had 11 out there. 8 would have been fit, 3 wouldn't, and we'd have probably had a load of children on the bench. We'd have had fans trying to get on the bench if we were allowed to sign them, but we can't because of this EFL loan, unfortunately, so we can't even do that. But you have to laugh. Unfortunately, it's been that bad. It's either laugh or cry. It's been horrendous for the best part of 2 months. Last away game I did was Sheffield Wednesday on the 9th of November. 1-1, really good point on the road. That was the game that Dane Oliver and Carl Dempsey got injured, and we've barely scored a goal since then. And like you said, 12 without a win. It's horrendous. It doesn't matter. It doesn't say at the end of the season, oh, Gills have got relegated, but they had loads of injuries. It will just say Gills have got relegated. So we need to make sure that these people stay fit. We have a productive window. within these constraints of this EFL loan, and fingers crossed that we're stronger in the second half of the season, which generally Steve Evans' teams are. But it'll be tough Saturday, I know that. I'm not saying now, because everyone's fit, we're going to roll you over, but it'll be a better game than it would have been if you turned up Boxing Day.
Definitely. And normally going into these games is always a talking point. When we had Paul Lambert in charge, Paul Lambert versus, Steve Evans, the battle of the Scots. We've got Kieran McKenna in charge. This is his second game. When we had Paul Cook in charge, his first game in charge of town was against Gillingham, and it was a 3-0 defeat at Bruce Hill Stadium.
We won. You did score.
Oh, yeah, we score. Yeah, we score. Oh, it doesn't matter. We lost. I tried to forget about that game. But this is Kieran McKenna's second game. What's your feelings going to this one? What's your prediction? As you said, if we were playing on Boxing Day, that would have been McKenna's first game, but he's had a game since then. He's got up and running. We're going to be confident going into this one, but how are you feeling going into it?
More confident than I was if it was Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Like I say, the point at MK Dons is a decent point. I think that was the first 0-0 at Stadium MK for 2 years, so there's not many teams that go there and keep a clean sheet. Yes, we probably had 35% of the ball, but we do that anyway. We was doing that last season when we were successful and in the top half, so that's no different. It's no surprise, as much as away fans or opposition fans like to moan about it. And we did something right, because there was MK Don fans on social media at the weekend saying that we were the worst team they'd ever seen and we deserved to be in League Two and it was anti-football. And I said, that's the first time I've seen that since we went to Hillsborough and drew 1-1. So that makes me happy, because that means we're doing something right, and that's not our problem. If you can't beat us and you want to get the ump, then crack on, because we've done something correct and we've managed to grab a point or a win, and we've upset people, then who cares? But it'll be tough. Like I said, we're not going to just turn up and win now just because we've got a few people back. They're not 100%. They're a lot better than they were a month, 2 months ago. It'll be interesting whether Dempsey does start. That'll be a huge boost for us. But who do you take out, like I say, after a good point at the weekend? I can see you scoring. Clean sheets hasn't been our thing this season. That was only our fourth in the league. But obviously we'll be more of a threat with the Dane Oliver in the side, as long as we can get him on the pitch for 70 minutes and stay in the game. We've just signed a lad this week from your dear neighbours up the road on loan, Tom Dixon Peters, who scored, I think, 17 in all competitions at under 23 level. He's got 10 in 14 in Premier League 2. I think they're the highest scoring team in Premier League 2, Norwich. So hopefully if he can transfer a bit of that form, we're not saying that he's going to come in and go a goal a game or whatever, because it's a big difference between under 23 football and League One football. I'd imagine he's not going to get treated as nicely as he does down there, or get booted off the park by some horrible centre half if they feel the need to do that. But I don't think he'll start. I think he'll be on the bench. But yeah, it'll be nice, wouldn't it, if we're in the game with 10 minutes to go and we can bring on the Norwich lad to nick the winner in front of the Raynham end.
Ooh, yeah, and of course, I want to quickly talk about the away end and the scaffolding. I know fans enjoyed it in September 2019. It was sunshine. We won the game, but it's going to be cold. It's looked like it's going to be wet. Any advice for town fans? Wear waterproofs, of course, but building up to the game, is anywhere they can go to eat, drink, and just what is the setup like if they're going to Gillingham for the first time?
Well, there's obviously the factory. I'm not sure if they let away fans in, which is the club bar, but there's pubs dotted around Gillingham. If you're getting off the train, you're 5-minute walk from the ground. The train station's literally opposite the high street, so there's pubs down there. There's McDonald's. There's all the usual stuff that us football fans eat. There's chip shops. There's nothing too classy that we're not interested in gourmet cuisine, are we? On a Saturday afternoon, we want a dirty rat burger and salmonella and chips and that type of thing, to quote Only Fools and Horses. But you'll be able to get yourself a beer or a soft drink or a burger and chips and something like that. There's plenty of offerings for that. There's a kebab shop, I think, en route if it's still there. So, yeah, they'll be fed and watered, the town fans. And then obviously you've got to just cross your fingers and hope for the best if you're in that away end. It's the greatest away end in the whole of European football, isn't it? So it's a temporary stand. It's only been there since 2003. So enjoy.
Yeah, as you said, temporary. 2003, I think.
We're getting on for 22 decades. I'm not sure it's that temporary, but it ain't going to go now. So just have to suck it up.
Pretty much, definitely. Well, Matt, it's been a pleasure having you on. Any other notes before we wrap up? What is your prediction then? What are you going for?
Well, I did my preview video last night, recorded that with another Ipswich fan, and obviously he's back due to win. And I've said that. I said that James Norwood's back in favour and playing well, albeit in a slightly different role. So we know we're going to have to be at it defensively. You've got so many attacking players, and you said that in the Papa John's Pizza Trophy that you played your reserves, but your reserve was Joe Pigott, who scored 40 goals in this division the last 2 seasons. Our reserves was Charlie Kelman, who lasted about another week after that and got sent back to his parent club, and John Akindi, who's not, entirely in favour with the Gills faithful, and then we had to contend with Trevor Kettle that night as well, didn't we? Which is always fun for any EFL fan. But yeah, it'd be a different game. It'll be tough. We're going to have to be at it defensively. I've already said that plenty of times. And then we're going to have to take our chances if they do come along, whether that's through open play or getting into good areas, winning free kicks. For Dane Oliver is an absolute beast in the air, so he should win free kicks in dangerous areas. And then it's going to be all about good delivery and being clinical. We've got the rust out the way, so to speak, of not playing for 3 weeks because of that COVID break, and managed to pick up a point. So that was a bonus as well. I'm going to be positive and say it'll be a score draw.
Okay. I don't think Town fans would be happy with that. Definitely with, well, I've said the season's dead. I'm sorry to say, Town fans, but it is. But we need to get good wins on the board. But we'll wait and see. Matt, thanks again, as ever, for joining me. Get involved in the comments. Let us know your thoughts, your predictions going into this game. And make sure to bring your waterproofs, or fingers crossed it doesn't rain too much, because you could get very wet indeed there. But yeah, anyways, it's enough from me. See you next time in our video. Bye-bye for now.